Hey friends, welcome to our homestead. We are just up in our north orchard right now doing a little fruit tree pruning, and I wanted to tackle this question that I get asked all the time, and that is, how can you afford to live an off-grid lifestyle? That is something I hear so often in my comments, and people are looking for that information. Well, today I'm going to talk about 8 different strategies or ways that you can afford an off-grid lifestyle. Let's talk about it. So sometimes there is some negativity and some cynicism around those type of questions, but I want to keep this completely positive today. And first, I'm going to start with our history, because if you haven't seen our previous 750 videos over the last 10 years, I just want to break down really quick what we did to get here. And I hope this helps you. This was a personal decision for our family and for the health of our family. About 11 years ago, we decided to leave Houston and move out to the countryside in Texas. But to make that work, we first had to rent a house. And you'll see how that fits in with the 8 points that I'm going to talk about in a minute. Once we rented that house, we were able to look for land to build our homestead or find something that was already up and running. But we knew for the health of our family, like I said, we had to leave the city as quickly as we could. And when we did that at that time, we had to leave our careers. I left my architecture firm, my wife left the hospital she was working at, and we moved out here, and she was the only one who was able to get a job. And that job paid her only 60% of what she was earning in Houston. But we were thankful to be out of the city nonetheless. With the deletion of my job and the severe degradation of her income, we only had $50 extra per month. And we were not able to sell our house in Houston for an additional 6 months. So the money that we had saved up for the move was starting to dwindle quickly because we were paying rent and a mortgage at the same time. But this is our experience. Yours might be different from ours, but I'm just letting you know how we were able to do it. During that move, I was in the process of trying to make some online income. We'll talk about that more in the 8 steps. Now, thank the Lord, we did not have to do anything like cash in our 401ks, which weren't that big to begin with, because I had gone through a series of layoffs in the architecture industry, and we were just trying to claw our way back to even. Our savings were much less than you're thinking. I will add in a few more pieces about our history and the way we did things in talking about these 8 points. Right before I do that, I want to ask you a question. What is off-grid, really? There are competing ideas about what that really means out there. And many of you watching could have different ideas of what that is. But is anyone really off-grid? Do you still have mail service? Do you still have cell phone service? Do you have water from a rural source? Are you completely isolated up in the mountains? Do you not go to the grocery store anymore? Do you still pay property taxes? Do you have trash service? Anything like that, I would say that you are not off-grid. In fact, the only people on the planet that I would say are completely off-grid are some lost Amazonian tribe in Brazil, where they have no contact with anybody and they are completely self-sufficient. None of us are going to be like that. Even the famous Dick Pernenke, when he built his cabin in rural Alaska, he had a float plane come and resupply him every so often. He did not have running water and electricity, and he built that cabin with his own 2 hands. So was Dick actually off-grid? I guess we could debate about it. So what do you want to do today? That's what you need to ask yourself. How self-sufficient do you want to be? How off-grid do you want to be? And then start planning and strategizing for that. Okay, point number 1, save and sell. Save every penny that you possibly can to attain this dream, and sell things that you just do not need anymore. And I know everybody's starting from a different place, but you could, if you own your home, sell your house. That could generate some income for you, which you could save and use toward your country property. Do you have things you don't use anymore that are of value? You can sell them. Dave Ramsey talks about this all the time. Get rid of things you don't need, but get some money for them if they are of value. Then save that money. Work where you are with what you have to start with. Okay, point number 2, and this is a big one. It is sacrificing. Sacrifice convenience. Sacrifice comfort. You're already going to start to do this in point number 1 by selling things that you don't need anymore. But when you move to a country property, you are sacrificing convenience, and it is very hard work. And that is uncomfortable for a lot of people. And those creature comforts that you find in suburbia or the city are just not going to be there. This sacrificing takes faith. For us, we have faith in God. You might have faith in something else, but it takes faith nonetheless. And when you're making that move, think about severely downsizing what you have. If you have a very small house in the city, downsize to a tiny house. For us, we downsized from our house in Houston, which had extra rooms we did not even use, to something that is comfortable, but much, much smaller than what we had. And that is still uncomfortable at times. But it is a sacrifice we were willing to make to change our lifestyle and change our family's trajectory. And friends, it's really all about family, and potentially to the saving of your family. Kind of like Noah. Okay, point number 3, cut. Cut your expenses big time. Cut everything out that you do not need. Cut out all the creature comforts, all the extra spending, everything. If you have a car note, sell your cars and downgrade to something that you can pay for cash. If I'm sounding like Dave Ramsey right now, that's because we follow what he teaches. It's solid principles and it's helped us out a lot. But get rid of the unneeded garbage. The extra lattes, the extra soda, the extra cigarettes, whatever it might be. Cut it all out. That will help you immensely on your journey. Okay, point number 4, and that is income. Find ways to increase your income. Now, if you are already working 2 jobs and you barely get any sleep, that's going to be extremely difficult. I do understand that. If you can, try to increase your income by selling things and finding some side hustles that you can do. Dave Ramsey always talks about delivering pizzas. I delivered pizzas in 1994 when I was saving money to go to college. With tips in the suburbs of Detroit, I made a good amount of money. And you can do that today. Also, look online. There are so many opportunities online to make money. And as soon as we decided to quit our jobs and make the move, I was looking for ways to boost our income online. One of those was selling on Amazon. The other was starting this YouTube channel. We also did some affiliate marketing on a blog that my wife started. All of those started to contribute to a little bit extra money coming in the door, and that we could use to save and put toward our homestead. Over the years, this channel has been a blessing, and it's allowed me to partner with some companies. But like I said, I've been at this for 10 years, so it does take a little time. And friends, with income, very small increases in income look way larger when you've cut your expenses. That is a huge income boost in itself. Now, while everybody's thinking that I've had it all easy in my life, that is the furthest thing from the truth. Go look at the other 750 videos where I describe the things that have happened. So I know the value and experience of working hard to make ends meet. And as a quick note for anybody who thinks YouTube pays a lot, it doesn't, but it's helpful. The first year I made a whopping $28 per month. But it's about looking at it as something you can build up and not getting discouraged at that and giving up, and keep building upon it over time. Hopefully that's encouraging for you. Okay, point number 5 is pace yourself. Don't think it's got to happen like tomorrow, where you've got a full garden in, you've got a tractor rolling, and you've got solar panels up. This has taken me 10 years, but it did blink by like that. And when I say pace yourself, cover the basics first, right? Cover shelter, cover water, cover electricity, those things. Cover infrastructure. Don't run out and get a tractor. Don't run out and get fancy equipment. Use a shovel and a rake like I did for 3 years. Now, I was blessed. My mom bought me a chainsaw for my birthday, but I didn't have one to start. And that's okay. You can pace yourself through these things, but just start with, like I said, the basics. Get some shelter over your head and some water and electricity if you want. Okay, point number 6. Do not look at anybody else and what they have. Don't look at Instagram famous homesteaders or YouTube famous homesteaders or anything like that. Please don't pay attention to what I have. Just focus on shelter, not a big fancy house. Just focus on a small solar system with 4 panels, a tiny inverter, and 1 battery to run your refrigerator and some lights if the power goes out. Focus on what's best for you. Looking at what others have is a quick and easy way to destroy what you're trying to do. Point number 7, learn new skills. You have to continually be learning if you're going to adopt a lifestyle like this. You've got to learn to do new things, and then you can actually add value to your community and exchange it for money. And that's an important thing, is to learn things and offer things that are already inherent in you. Like I can offer, designing of small tiny houses. Offer those to your community and your neighbors. And they can see value in that, and you can exchange things, you can barter things, whatever you want. Learn new things to help others out, but it will also help you out as well. Okay, point 8 is kind of a culmination of all these points, and it is about changing your mindset. You need to change your mind about how much money you need. You need to change your mind about the things that you need. You need to change your mind about how much money you need to spend on certain things. You need to change your mind about your comfortability in certain situations. Once you can start doing that, it's easy to live an off-grid lifestyle. Because friends, there's this perception out there that living in the city and buying these things and going to work every day for this paycheck is the way to do it. It is not. Many people do that and are happy doing that. But if you are not, and you want to change your lifestyle to something like this, then you need to change your mindset. Because that perception of just collecting a paycheck week upon week upon week and buying things and going to the grocery store and all of that, that is a trap, actually, in my mind. That's a trap to keep people from going out and being more self-sufficient. It is a trap to say it's cheaper and easier to live in the city. Hey, there's something else I wanted to mention that I didn't mention earlier in the video, and that is food. Don't expect to move out on a homestead and be able to provide your family all the food that you need right away. It's just not possible. Fruit trees, if you get them in right away after moving out to your country property, take a good 5 or 6 years to produce. Don't be fooled by the food expectation. You are going to need to still go to the grocery store for years and years and years until you can figure out how your growing conditions are, how easy it is to grow food for your family and enough for your family where you're at. Even if you were able to grow 100% of your food on your property, is it really 100%? What about salt? What about other things? Say, I don't know, cooking oil. There are just going to be things that you will not be able to produce on your property. If you can forego those things, hey, that's cool. And we should all be working toward that end. But it's going to take a very, very long time. Okay, friends, I hope that was helpful for you. Those 8 ways about how you can afford an off-grid lifestyle. It's certainly different for everybody, but there's some basic principles that you need to stick to be able to do it. Now, if you want, head below the video and check out the links to some of the companies that we do represent. You can look for our t-shirts down there also. If you have any questions, leave them for me in the comment section below. Have a beautiful, blessed day. We'll see you next time. Bye.